And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment. Alright, to continue off my X-Men adventure, I have another X-Men movie about to talk about, and this is kind of like the reboot, beginning story movie, and it's X-Men First Class. That's right. This is X-Men First Class, people. This is basically the beginning stories of how Professor X and Magneto first met each other, and this time it has James McAvoy playing Professor X, and you have Michael Fassbender playing Magneto. Now, when this casting was announced, like, these two guys are good actors. You know, they've been in a couple of movies before, but, you know, I personally didn't really know too much about them, but, you know, a lot of people were like, these guys can't replace McKellen and Stewart, no way, Partition, don't let them do it, no. And, you know, whatever. Now, me personally, when I first saw the trailer, and I heard, you know, the synopsis about this, of how, you know, this is going to show young Professor X, him walking, how he gets the students, I thought it was going to be about him getting Jean Grey as a young girl, Cyclops, Angel, and, you know, all those cats from the original X-Men comic. And I was like, you know what, I think I might just skip this one, because honestly, I don't care if they're not in, they weren't in the casting. I was like, oh, what's the point? I mean, they had a young Mystique, played by Jennifer Lawrence, and I was like, I don't know, I might not watch this, might be stupid. Then I saw the trailer, I was like, you know what, it looks okay, I might check it out. I saw the movie, this movie blew my mind. I'm like, holy cannoli. First of all, this movie is directed by Vince Vaughn, okay? And I really, really like this movie a lot. First of all, it really tells the story of how, you know, like, it does tell the story of how Professor X and Magneto first met, but it shows their backstory and how they were like in the 60s, you know? And Professor X, he was a kind of a playboy in a way, you know? He was an intelligent guy, but the guy was smooth, and he wanted to hook up with girls and all this stuff. He was kind of funny. And, you know, McAvoy played him really, really well, and I loved it. It was great. There's so many great moments in this movie. And then you have Michael Fassbender playing Magneto, Eric Lancher, and holy crap. The dude, like, hit it out of the park. This guy was awesome as Magneto. Because then it shows the previous, you know, and from the first movie, of the X-Men movie, where you see the Holocaust scene where, you know, Magneto's a young kid, he's separated from his parents, and then he puts his hand out and he tries to bends, like, the gate. It shows that scene, and then he goes to the backstory how he loses his mother in front of him, and now he just wants revenge on the guy who basically killed his mother. So he goes off a rampage, and he wants to kill anybody who gets in his way, and he's not afraid to use his powers. So then when he finally meets, you know, Professor X, they team up. And it's like, oh, listen, we should team up, bring our people together, and protect them. You know, make a school, bring that together. And, you know, then you have the government who's there, and they kind of aware that the mutants exist. It's just that they're like, I don't know, should we even pay mind? Maybe this is just a metaphor. This might be a waste of time. But then stuff goes down, and like, yeah, we might have to deal with these guys. And like I said, this movie is very, very, very good. It tells you a lot of stuff about how Professor X was and his personality, you know, from how he was a young man and how he was super smart, and even he was in college, and I think he went to Oxford University, and he was just brilliant. And then you have him meeting Jennifer Lawrence's character, Mystique, young Mystique, and then, you know, then you see Magneto meeting Mystique, and, you know, fall in love with her, and then he's like tricking her, but like, listen, you shouldn't be Raven, because, you know, that was her real name, and, you know, she's always wanted to look like normal, you know, she decides to be like normal. She didn't want to be blue, and, you know, even because of all what Charles told her, and he's like, listen, you should hide yourself, shouldn't be showing like what you are, and what you can do to people. And Magneto's the other side. He's like, listen, embrace who you are. You know what I mean? You're beautiful no matter, you know, who you look like. If you're gonna be blue, you're more beautiful that way. Like I said, I really enjoy this movie, and Beast is in this movie too, and he's awesome. Really well done. And you got a whole bunch of other mutants in this movie too. You got Havoc in this movie. You got Banshee. You have Emma Frost. This movie's great. And, you know, the whole 60s stuff, I'm like, wow, people actually dressed like that in those days. It was kind of creepy. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. Like I said, I was one of those people, like, I don't know, man, you know, it didn't have Cyclops, it didn't have, you know, Jean Grey, and it didn't have Angel. I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even watch this. And I'm like, you know what, I don't need those characters right now, they can show them the next one, or the next one, or whatever. This cast is awesome, and I love it, and it was great. So, I highly recommend you should go check this movie out, because if you want to see, you know, how the X-Men is, and you have questions like how Professor X gets to the wheelchair, it explains it here. You know, he gets shot, obviously Magneto curves the bullet, and it hits him in the spine, obviously. How he basically gets the mansion, it's there, how they built Cerebro together, and you actually see that come together. They show the explanation of how Magneto gets his helmet. He gets it from a bad guy in the movie. Apparently he had it because telepaths can get into his mind, so he found a way to block it, and then Magneto steals it, and now he uses it. And that's how he gets the origin of his helmet that can block all telepaths, you know, from getting into their minds. So they have that. Like I said, this movie's awesome. Beast is cool. Mystique is great. I really like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. She's really good in this. James McAvoy's Professor X is awesome. Michael Fassbender as Magneto is even better. And the way that they talk to each other, the way they play chess is how they started playing chess together. Like just like how they were in the old ones. It works. I love it. It's great. So I give this one. Do I have any problem with it? Let me think about it. No, not really. And the only problem, like I said, I have was the fact that, you know, the problems I had was before the movie started. Like, you know, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, they weren't in there, so they weren't the first team. But you know what? Whatever. I understand now. I still enjoyed it for what it was. Some of the pacing of this movie was actually pretty good. There was no pacing problems with this. I wish certain characters were in it more. Put it that way. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But yeah, I give it a 10 because I really enjoyed this movie a lot. So, like I said, if you want to watch this movie, I suggest you watch the original ones first. X-Men 1, 2, then you go 3, then you go Origins Wolverine, then you go to this one, and then you go to the next ones. But then I'll get to those in a minute. But yeah, that's my review for X-Men First Class. So let me know what you think about it. And I think Vince Vaughn did a really good job in this movie. I would like to see him come back in the next one, or the next one. But now we have Bryan Singer, so who knows? So, thank you, and have a good day.